Hey everybody, Fred Minnick here, and today I'm really excited about this tasting Liberty Pole Peated Rye whiskey, which made my top 100 last year. This is this year's release. Let's give it a taste. Let's see where it's going to end up in the list, if it makes it at all. But peat is foreign to American whiskeys. Of course, that's used in Scotland. And now that American whiskey has kind of found its footing, and there's a lot of interest in like tasting new styles, you've seen the introduction of peat. We've seen it with like Kings County in Brooklyn has done a good job using peat. There's been some other smoke techniques, all borrowed from our friends in Scotland in terms of how it's used and how they use it in the malting process and other grains. There's actually some malting done with corn at MB Roland, who's used things like hemp in their mash bill. So you've got a little bit of experimentation across the board. And Liberty Pole, in my opinion, did a great job of using peat with rye. Now, their rye is not like a high rye mash bill, and they're actually far outside of like the traditional Pennsylvania standards of rye whiskey. Their rye is only 59%, and they're introducing the peatiness through the barley. So this is a fascinating whiskey to me. And by the way, they don't need my help talking about it. It sells out as soon as they come out with it. People love Liberty Pole's peated rye whiskey. I happen to like it too, and so it's an honor to actually review it. Small distiller in Pennsylvania. I'm always rooting for the small guys, but at the same time, the proof is in the whiskey. Now, where are we doing this tasting? We're doing this tasting at Watch Hill Proper. Watch Hill Proper is where I have a dinner series. You can go to the description, click on the link, and join us for an upcoming dinner where I pair great whiskey with great food. So let's get to the tasting here. Yeah, so Liberty Pole makes my top 100 last year, and you know they are like a lot of small distillers, you know, not very well known on the national circuit, and I feel like that is that's a tough thing for the rest of the country, because they don't have the whiskey to get everywhere, and not everyone wants to take a flyer on a small distiller. You know, just people in general like bash craft whiskey. Like, that bothers me personally. Now, while I have definitely given my negative reviews on craft whiskey and other styles of whiskey, I don't do it maliciously. And I feel like there's a lot of malicious effort toward smaller distillers. But I will say that the styles of whiskey in America are changing. And they're changing because the likes of Jim at Liberty Pole are pushing the envelope. And so this whiskey here today, you know, it's not very well known. It made my top 100 last year. Who knows this year? We're about to find out if it's going to be in contention. But I do know that the efforts put into this bottle are going to change whiskey tomorrow, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. And 100 years from now, when I'm long and gone, you know, American whiskey is going to be an entirely new look. We're no longer just going to be like, Kentucky straight bourbon, woo! It's going to be more than just that. You know, it's going to be more than just Tennessee whiskey, yeehaw! It's going to be all over the place. And I like that. I like that a lot. So here we go. Woo! Coming in with that smoky smell. Damn. That's smoky, that's spicy, and I want a chili dog. This makes me crave chilies. Makes me crave like smoke and chili. Wow. This is a smoke and chili kind of a freaking, this is a great combo. Unbelievable. I'll tell you right now that the introduction of peat in an American whiskey is difficult because peat can be overpowering, and there's not a lot of people who make whiskey that understand that in the United States. Like, but what they're doing at Liberty Pole, like they understand how to use peat. It's not overpowering, it complements. There's a smokiness to this, but that smokiness, that peat flavor, does not overpower the rye. I feel like I'm tasting a rye whiskey that has that spice backbone that I'm accustomed to, and then there's some smoke to it. I even think that this year's Liberty Pole Peated Rye whiskey is better than last year. This is great. Wow. Yeah, so 2 thumbs up here for me on this. Once again, what a great cask strength release from Liberty Pole. But that's going to do it for this tasting. And hats off to Liberty Pole for such a great great example of how you can use peat in American whiskey. But that's going to do it here. If you'd like to see more honest reviews, click that subscribe button. If you want to, join these kind of like exclusive conversations in whiskey, hit the join button and become a member. But that's going to do it here, folks. Be safe out there. And remember, vodka sucks unless it's being used for hand sanitizer. Cheers, y'all. Be safe.